Alright guys, welcome to the video. Now, if you're looking to get out of your timeshare, this is likely going to be one of the single most important videos that you've ever watched. And there are actually two reasons for this. And when I say important, it's going to be just that important. Because the first reason is that I'm going to tell you and specifically go through and explain the options you have if you want to get out of a timeshare. All right, and I know you've probably heard that you have many options, or that certain options are very easy, and you can get out for free, or you can sell and everybody will want it. But contrary to popular belief, the vast majority of the videos you watch on that are completely false. At least bits and pieces. And they might not be totally false, but they are loaded with partial truths. And partial truths are actually worse than a completely false video, because you don't know. It's just harder to understand or know what in that video is true and what's not. So what I want to do in this video is talk to you about the complete truth if you want to get out of your timeshare regarding your options. And then at the end, I'm going to give you what I feel, and this is after many years in the industry, what I feel is the single most valuable option you have, or I should say the safest and the most rational option if you want to get out of your timeshare. Because basically, if you use this option, your timeshare will be, in fact, gone, and it'll be gone for a very reasonable price, actually. So let's run through this real quick. I'm on my iPad. I'm shooting this on my notes, so hopefully you can follow along, and that will be easy. So let's talk about the first option that most people try to do, and that is a lot of people will try to contact their timeshare company. Okay, so that's generally speaking option one. Let me put an option one right there. That's generally the first option that people try. And what do we hear in videos? We hear that it's easy, and we hear that your timeshare company is more than willing to take it back. Now, that, of course, is completely false. If you haven't found out by now, I encourage you to call your timeshare company. But if you haven't found out by now, the vast majority of timeshares are never going to be taken back regardless of the company. And that is because there's very strict rules that apply for most companies. That is to say, they have absolutely no reason to let you out of your timeshare company or your timeshare contract. And so they apply very strict rules, meaning that they are only going to take back the elite timeshares. Okay? That's what they're going to take back. The ones they know that they can redistribute. Now, generally speaking, there is a fee involved in that. Now, a lot of these people you see shooting YouTube videos are not mentioning that. They'll say, well, I contacted this and I got out for free. And that is about a 1 in 100 to 200 chance, in my experience. Again, all you're seeing when you watch those videos are the very select few owners who actually got out. They get excited, they go post a YouTube video, and that's how they got out. It's not going to work for you, at least in the vast majority of instances. In fact, what your timeshare company is likely to do is try to upsell you. And we get a lot of people, we get a lot of owners and people contacting us saying, well, we contacted our timeshare company and we wanted to get out, and they upsold us into something else. Or they made it sound so great, and they tried to convert us into something that was more expensive, claiming that it would be easier to get rid of in the long run. And there's just all sorts of scams. That's generally what you're going to encounter if you try to contact your timeshare company. Let's go right into option two, because I don't want this video to be too long. Again, if you're trying to get out of your timeshare, watch the entire video, because all of this is going to fit together, and at the end, you're going to say it was worth my time. Most likely, because it's going to be incredibly valuable and help you to get out. The number two method, and this will have to do with the number three as well, has to do with selling. Okay, so there's this idea that you can go and you can sell your timeshare, and chances are you may have paid a listing company to try to market or sell your timeshare. A general listing contract for that is a year long, and it generally runs anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. Okay, just depending on who you use. Now you don't have to pay to list it. In fact, you can go online and you can list them for free. But long story short, never forget the following. And so anybody who's telling you they can sell your timeshare or list with us, or a lot of companies will disguise telling you that they can get you out of your timeshare and it will only cost you $500 or whatever, are really just trying to list your timeshare on a 1-year contract. And then if you don't get out, there's no guarantees. Okay, so you lose that money. So current stats are less than 1%. Now let me find my percentage. 1% actually, actually resell. Okay? So less than 1% actually resell. That's a fact. I'm going to show you why. Let me flip right over here. Let's go in and let's go to Google. So a lot of people will go to Google, and what will they do? They will type in something along the lines of get rid of my timeshare, or I just clicked on Google. Let me go back. The World Cup's going on. They'll click along something along the lines of get rid of my timeshare, or another popular one is just sell my timeshare because they're trying to recoup that. Okay? And this is super important if you're trying to get out of your timeshare, so pay attention to this. What you won't see that comes up is the most valuable piece of info. And that piece of info is a website called ebay.com. So if you look at eBay, you might know this website. If you look at eBay, I'm sure you do. eBay is the #1 listing site that owners use to sell timeshares. It's also the #1 listing site that timeshare listing companies, they will charge you, okay, $1,000 or $1,500, and then they'll just come here and they will just list it for free. Okay? So basically what they're going to do is they'll come here, and if you come here and you type in timeshares for sale, okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this, but you're going to get a good idea of why selling is so impossible. Again, look at, if I scroll down, you'll see listings for $1. People literally taking initial bids of $1, okay, just to consider getting out of the timeshare. All they want people to do is take over their maintenance fees. And there's thousands upon thousands of these listings. I won't go through them all. There are thousands of them. And if you pay close attention, you're going to find that week after week after month, the same basic ones sit here, only new ones are piling up. Again, less than 1% of timeshares actually resell. Do not pay a listing company to try to sell your timeshare because you're just throwing money out the door. And also consider that if you try to sell timeshares, I mean, look at these. These are really nice properties. Odds are your property is either similar, but it's probably not any nicer than what these are if you're completely rational. I mean, if I click on these, you can see that these are exceptionally nice properties, and yet the owners still cannot give them away. They will just sit and sit and sit here, okay? And in the meantime, the average time that an owner spends to list is 2 to 3 years. Well, the average maintenance fee is $800 to $1,200 a year, so they have another $3,000 in maintenance fees. That's a fact. Okay, let me click back. So, generally speaking, the vast majority of people that contact us have tried to sell, okay, and they generally have tried to sell for 2 or 3 years without luck, okay, without luck, which means they have an additional, remember, the maintenance fees add up. So if we say your average maintenance fee is $800 to $1,200, let's just use $1,000, they add up. That's another $3,000 in maintenance fees, and you're still not out, okay? And if you paid a listing contract or somebody to sell, you have another $1,000 in the listing. Okay, so the vast majority of people we have contacting us who've tried to sell generally have $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 in trying to sell, and they're still not out, which leads me to my third solution. Okay, and this is the best one. So if you're trying to get out of your timeshare, pay close attention. All you're trying to do basically is transfer your name off of that ownership, okay? Off of the deed. You want to transfer it away to get it off of there, okay? And that's why the third option is called a transfer. Now, selling, as we talked about number 2, selling is a way to go about that. But you can also go about that with what's called a simple transfer. And all that means is that your name is getting transferred off the ownership, okay? Now, I want to stress this, okay? You will make no money. Now, this is a solution that we do here. Long story short, you're not going to make any money. So a lot of people will try to scam. The number one scam in getting out of a timeshare is basically saying, well, come through us and we'll help you recoup finances, or we'll help you recoup investments on your timeshare. That's not going to happen. This solution makes you no money. So if you come through us and use a transfer, you're not going to make any money. I stress, okay? But the benefit is, over all the other benefits, is that you will get out of your timeshare. We guarantee it here. You will absolutely get out, guaranteed, or your money back. That's a fact. So that's the benefit of a transfer. Okay, now, some things to consider, all right? It's far, far harder to get out of your timeshare than what people realize. So if you come through us and you use a transfer, it's not going to happen overnight. That is not the way it works. Anybody who tells you they can get you out of your timeshare overnight is in fact lying. It's not going to work that way. It's generally speaking, it can be a couple months to even longer to get out of your timeshare. But keep in mind, when you pay the fee to have it transferred, it is gone. Okay? You get out or your money back. So you have that peace of mind, so to speak. And it's the only method, and provided you use a reputable company, and again, that's what we do here. So you can see the contact form below this video. If you fill in your information, we'll get back to you and we'll explain the details. But should you use us and apply this method, again, it's guaranteed. And as far as cost goes, because everybody wants to know about cost, well, it's going to depend on your timeshare company, number one. It's going to depend on whether you owe money or not, number two. But also, it's going to depend on a few other factors. So what I can say is if you take your maintenance fee, the average maintenance fee, again, is generally speaking between $800 and $1,200 a year, so we'll call it $1,000. Generally speaking, when I talk to people here, what they have spent is $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 trying to list their timeshare, okay? And that's because maintenance fees accrue over those years. Not to mention they paid listing contracts and things like that, so they can have as much as $5,000 in. It's not going to cost you to get out today with a transfer even close to that, okay? In fact, generally speaking, it's not even be close to $3,000 to get out, and generally speaking, it's not even going to be $2,000 to get out, okay? It's generally far, far less than what you will pay in upcoming maintenance fees. And again, you're out. Okay? Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, my name is Jason. We're a small company here, so the vast majority of the time, I'm going to be contacting you back. If you fill out the form below, we need your name, we need your other details, and we need the time, the best time for us to contact you. And again, we'll get back to you. The vast majority of the time, it will be me getting back to you, and I'll explain the solution. And if you want to go forward, again, it's a guaranteed solution to get out of your timeshare that's generally far, far less than what you will pay in your upcoming maintenance fees. So fill out the form below. If you found this video useful, hopefully you share it with a friend. Again, you saw it at www.timeshareexitvideo.com. timeshareexitvideo.com. Contact us today.